That's right. I left these. I took these with me. Evening, everyone, and welcome back to part 3 of Eve's Diary, part of No Twain, No Game. I'll be your reader for this evening, and your reader for every evening, for that matter. Hope you're all doing okay on this eve before New Year's Eve. For those of you who have been following, and those of you who haven't been, we brought this back since the old Omicronians decided to attack me not too long ago. And it's a little bit of an update. I'm doing all right. The symptoms continue to improve. My congestion has mostly settled back, going into my chest still. It's a slow and steady process, but it is feeling much better than it even was yesterday. And you'll probably hear out there, we've got some firecrackers going off. There's some really excitable folks out there who just really want to ring in the new year just a little bit early. It's kind of amazing right now. Is for those of you who don't know, in Los Angeles, it's been quite rainy as of recent. So I don't know how much success they're going to get setting off firecrackers in the rain, but that's their problem, not mine. Anyway, I digress. Where was I? Yes. So here we are in part 3 of 4 of Eve's Diary. And when last we left off, Eve was continuing to follow Adam and was becoming more and more interested in him, and he's begun to show some interest back. He's also talked about how she keeps her distance, follows him when she feels like it, and they've begun to develop a closer feeling now with the discovery of fire, as it were. Speaking of fire, our abode here is much warmer than it's been, seeing as yours truly finally got the darn heater working. But that's neither here nor there. So I got my fuzzy socks on though, because my feet get cold. Not quite as cold as my legs, but nonetheless. Anyway, enough about all of that. Apollo, come up here for a second. Apollo, come here. Thank you, Apollo. This is Apollo, for those of you who have not met. And this is Grogu back up here, for those of you that have not met. Apollo is the keeper of the holy text. Holy is on the Bible. See what it is? All right. Apollo, thank you. You can sit back down now. Done your work for the evening, my friend. All right. Now, I found my specs. They were hiding here the whole time. I didn't bother to put them on. Oh, well. What do we got here? Where did we? Yes. So, without further ado, I bring you part 3 of 4 of Eve's Diary by Mark Twain. Friday. I saw him again for a moment last Monday at nightfall, but only for a moment. I was hoping he would praise me for trying to improve the estate, for I had meant well and had worked hard. But he was not pleased, and turned away and left me. He was also displeased on another account. I tried once more to persuade him to stop going over the falls. That was because the fire had revealed to me a new passion, quite new, and distinctly different from love, grief, and those others which I had already discovered. Fear. And it is horrible. I wish I had never discovered it. It gives me dark moments. It spoils my happiness. It makes me shiver and tremble and shudder. But I could not persuade him. For he has not discovered fear yet, so he could not understand me. This here is an extract from Adam's diary. Perhaps I ought to remember that she is very young, a mere girl, to make allowances. She is all interest, eagerness, vivacity. The world is to her a charm, a wonder, a mystery, a joy. She can't speak for delight when she finds a new flower. She must pet it and caress it and smell it and talk to it, pour out endearing names upon it. And she is color mad: brown rocks, yellow sand, rain, moss, green foliage, blue sky, the pearl of the dawn, the purple shadows on the mountains, the golden islands floating in crimson seas at sunset, the pallid moon sailing through the shredded cloud rack, the star jewels glittering in the wastes of space. None of them is of any practical value, so far as I can see. But because they have color and majesty, that is enough for her. And she loses her mind over them. If she could quiet down and keep still a couple of minutes at a time, would be a reposeful spectacle. In that case, I think I could enjoy looking at her. Indeed, I'm sure I could, for I'm coming to realize that she is a quite remarkably comely creature. Lithe, slender, trim, rounded, shapely, nimble, graceful. And once when she was standing marble white and sun drenched on a boulder with her young head tilted back and her hand shading her eye, watching the flight of a bird in the sky, I recognized that she was beautiful. Monday, noon. If there is anything on the planet that she is not interested in, it's not in my list. There are animals that I am indifferent to, but it's not so with her. She has no discrimination. She takes to all of them. She thinks they are all treasures. Every new one is welcome. When the mighty Brontosaurus came striding into camp, she regarded it as an acquisition. I considered it a calamity. That is a good sample of the lack of harmony that prevails in our views of things. She wanted to domesticate it. I wanted to make it a present of the homestead and move out. She believed it could be tamed by kind treatment and would be a good pet. I said a pet 21 feet high and 84 feet long would be no proper thing to have about this place, because even with best intentions and without meaning any harm, you could sit down on the house and mash it, or anyone could see with a look inside that it was absent-minded. Still, her heart was set upon having that monster, and she couldn't give it up. She thought we could start a dairy with it, wanted me to help her milk it. But I wouldn't. It was too risky. The sex wasn't right, and we hadn't any ladder anyway. Then she wanted to ride it and look at the scenery. 30 or 40 feet of its tail was lying on the ground like a fallen tree. She thought she could climb it, but she was mistaken. When she got to the steep place, it was too slick, and down she came and would have hurt herself but for me. Was she satisfied now? No. That satisfies her with demonstration. Untested theories are not in her line, and she won't have them. You mind? Sorry about that. And she won't have them. She was born scientific. It is the right spirit. I can see that it attracts me. I feel the influence of it. If I were with her more, I think I should take it up myself. Well, she had one theory remaining about his Colossus. She thought that if we could tame him and make him friendly, we could stand him in the river and use him for a bridge. Turned out that he was already plenty tame enough, at least as far as she was concerned. Or so she tried to think. But it failed. Every time she got him properly placed in the river and went ashore to cross over on him, he came out and followed her around like a pet mountain, like the other animals. They all do that. Now back to Eve's side. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and today. All without seeing him. It's a long time to be alone. Still, it is better to be alone than unwelcome. I had to have company. I was made for it, I think. So I made friends with the animals. They're just charming, and they have the kindest disposition and the politest ways. They never look sour. They never let you feel that you're intruding. They smile at you and wag their tail, if they've got one. And they're always ready for a romp or an excursion or anything you want to propose. I think they are perfect gentlemen. All these days we have had such good times, and it hasn't been lonesome for me ever. Lonesome? No, I should say not. Why, there's always a swarm of them around, sometimes as much as 4 or 5 acres. You can't count them. And when you stand on a rock in the midst and look out over the furry expanse that is so mottled and splashed and gray with color and frisk and sheen and sun flash, and so you might think it was a lake. Only you know it isn't, and there's birds and hurricanes and whirring wings, and when the sun strikes all that feathery commotion, you have a blazon up all the colors you can think of. That's what your eyes on. We have made long excursions, and I have seen a great deal of the world, almost all of it, I think. And so I am the first traveler, and the only one. When we are on the march, it is an imposing sight. There's nothing like it anywhere. For comfort, I ride a tiger or a leopard because it is soft and has a round back that fits me, because they are such pretty animals. But for long distance or for scenery, I ride the elephant. He hoists me up with his trunk, but I can get off myself. When we are ready to camp, he sits and I slide down the back way. The birds and animals are all friendly to each other, and there are no disputes about anything. They all talk and they all talk to me, but it must be a foreign language for I cannot make out a word they say. Yet they often understand me when I talk back, particularly the dog and the elephant. It makes me ashamed. It shows that they are brighter than I am, and therefore my superiors. It annoys me, for I want to be the principal experiment myself, and I intend to be too. I have learned a number of things and have educated me, but I wasn't at first. I was ignorant at first. At first, it used to vex me with all my watching. I was never smart enough to be around when the water was running uphill. But now I do not mind it. I have experimented and experimented until now, and I know it never does run uphill, except in the dark. I know it does in the dark because the pool never goes dry, which it would, of course, if the water didn't come back in the night. It is best to prove things by actual experiment. Then you know. Whereas if you depend on guessing and supposing and conjecturing, you will never get educated. Some things you can't find out. You will never know you can't by guessing and supposing so. You have to be patient and go on experimenting until you find out that you can't find out. And it is delightful to have it that way. It makes the world so interesting. If there wasn't anything to find out, it would be dull. Trying to find out and not finding out is just as interesting as trying to find out and finding out. I don't know, but more so. The secret of the water was a treasure until I got it. Then the excitement all went away, and I recognized the sense of loss. By experiment, I know that wood swims, and dry leaves and feathers, and plenty of other things. Therefore, by all that cumulative evidence, you know that a rock will swim. But you have to put up with simply no, for there isn't any way to prove it up to now. But I shall find a way. Then that excitement will go. Such things make me sad. Because by and by, when I have found out everything, there won't be any more excitements. And I do love excitement so. The other night, I couldn't sleep for thinking about it. First, I couldn't make out what I was made for, but now I think it was to search out the secrets of this wonderful world, be happy, and thank the giver of it all for devising it. I think there are many things to learn yet. Well, I hope so. And by economizing and not hurrying too fast, I think they will last weeks and weeks. I hope so. When you cash up a feather, it sails away on the air and it goes out of sight. Then you throw up a cloud and it doesn't. It comes down every time. I have tried it and tried it. It is always so. I wonder why it is. Of course, it doesn't come down. But why should it seem so? I suppose this is an optical illusion. I mean, one of them is. I don't know which one. It may be the feather, it may be the cloth. I can't prove which it is. I can only demonstrate that one or the other is a fake and let a person take his choice. By watching, I know that the stars are not going to last. I've seen some of the best ones melt and run down the sky. Since one can melt, they can all melt. Since they can all melt, they can all melt the same night. That sorrow will come. No, I need to sit up every night and look at them as long as I can to keep awake. I will impress those sparkling fields in my memory, so that by and by, when they are taken away, I can by my fancy restore those lovely myriads to the black sky and make them sparkle again, and double them by the blood of my tears. Yep, that'll do it for part 3 of 4 of Eve's Diary. We'll return tomorrow evening on New Year's Eve to bring you part 4, starting with the section entitled After the Fall. Well, until we meet again, friends, I hope you're all staying safe, and I hope that if you can be with your loved ones, you are, and if you can't be, well, I hope this brings you just a little bit of solace in that. So until I see you all again, this is your storyteller, along with a glass of the finest Costco Scotch whiskey here, saying good night.